Good evening and welcome to the second episode of Ox Sports Unleashed, a brand new Oxfordshire sports show we're bringing to you most Thursdays. Obviously, last week we had a belter of a programme that took an awful lot of editing by our amazing cameraman Dan Smith. We owe him a massive debt. His expertise was really put to the test last week. So hopefully you enjoyed episode 1. Yes, we've been unleashed on you for episode 2. And my co-host, K-Dog, how did you feel it went?
Well, I think we need to give Dan a pay rise, definitely, after last week's efforts.
Is he going up to 60p?
Yeah, we might give him 60p this week. No, but it was a fantastic first episode. We had so much brilliant engagement, so many people watching. It was really humbling, actually, to see the lovely comments that we had and the retweets all around the county. What we're aiming to do for Ox Sports Unleashed is we're aiming to bring back to Oxfordshire your sport, your coverage, because we are conscious that in recent years, as we mentioned last week, the coverage of sport has decreased in the county through no fault of anybody's. This is a show run by volunteers, and we're aiming to bring grassroots sport back to the forefront of Oxfordshire. And we need your help. We need you. So I was thinking maybe we can get a Lord Kitchener's thing now. We need you. But yeah, if you're watching this and you want to be featured on Ox Sports Unleashed over the coming weeks and months, we've got lots and lots of different sports we're going to try to feature. If you want your club featured, or you want footage or videos of goals or tackles in rugby or netball, just drop us a line to oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com, and we would do everything we can to make sure we get your sport covered in this fine county. And yeah, Woodsy, it was brilliant, wasn't it? And yeah, we sat watching it as well. We're going to let you into a little secret. It was recorded last week.
Honestly.
Just to, even though it probably you might not believe it was recorded because it was so smooth, maybe. But we will be going live for most of our shows, so that's where we'll get the bloopers reel ready for Christmas, no doubt. I've just mentioned the C word, I can't believe it.
Oh dear.
So yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy the episodes. We've got a lot coming up on tonight's packed show, and as I said before, please contact us at oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com if you want your sport featured on our programme in the coming weeks, Woodsy.
Absolutely, and really make sure that you do send us stuff. We really want to hear from you because it's really important, and we really want to showcase your club or your person who's done really well in a particular sport. So please do get in touch.
And I did notice we've had quite a few emails this week. We've had an email from the home county's boxing. Challenge K-Dog's going to take on a bit of a worrying challenge. It looks like K-Dog's going to be ending up in a boxing ring at some point. Hopefully I'm not going to be punched in the face. I know you like to punch me in the face a few times.
There'll be an orderly queue.
Yeah, probably will be. But yeah, we've got some brilliant Challenge K-Dogs coming up. We've got the second part this week of my attempt at lawn bowls, and then following that with an interview with Dave Freeman from Chipping Norton Bowls Club. And he can tell you how you can get involved in bowls. It's not a sport just for people that have retired. It's a sport that's really growing in Oxfordshire and around the country. And actually, I got quite an eye-opener about how tough the sport is, actually. It's not just the sake of a case of just bowling a ball down the green. You really do have to be very accurate and get the pace right, get the bias right. And it's really interesting. So please stay tuned, and we will speak to Dave Freeman at Chipping Norton Bowls Club later on.
Will you get better this week?
Doubt it. Very much doubt that.
Stay tuned, we'll find out. And coming up now are the main highlights from our national non-league football clubs, starting with Oxford City. now we're going to go over to our regular feature with Lyon, Lock and Ride. We're going to take a look back at our local clubs' weekend results and take a look ahead to next weekend's fixtures. This will be followed by highlights from our National League clubs.
Yeah, welcome to this quick run through of last weekend's local football results, starting with Oxford United, who beat Exeter City 3-0 on Saturday. A headed goal from Ruben Rodriguez on 8 minutes, his first for the club. Then two late Cameron Brannigan penalties on 83 and 94 minutes, bagged all 3 points for the U's. That result saw Oxford United move up to second place in the EFL at the close of play on Saturday. And now if Cameron Brannigan is the EFL answer to Ward Prowse, then Oxford City's Josh Ashby is in a similar class in the National League. But Paul, Josh was missing for the squad on Saturday at Oldham, which proved to be not a very happy hunting ground for the Hoops, sir.
No, we do miss Josh Ashby. He's been really influential for us this season, and we tried to keep hold of him because we had a few offers for him at the end of last year because he played so well and he's so influential. And with Zach McEachran being missing for the first few games, Josh has been a little bit further up, getting into some really good attacking positions, but he can also play as that holding midfielder as well. Big player for us, and we're really missing him. And hopefully he'll be back soon. It's just a small niggling groin injury, but hopefully next week he should be back.
Well, Patrick, in spite of the result, what was your marks out of 10 for the pies, the pints, the parking, and the people at Oldham?
Yeah, other than the game, really, it was actually quite a nice place to go. It's quite weird when you go with Oxford City to these big ex-Football League grounds. And I mean, we've been to Football League grounds quite a lot in the last few years with our FA Cup runs, and Colchester, Notts County, Tranmere come to mind. And the weird thing about that is we haven't been going to those grounds as equals. We've been kind of the underdogs in an FA Cup game, but it felt really strange going to big ground like that as an equal in a league game. So yeah, that was very, very strange. But yeah, it was a good day out, and parking was fairly easy. It was one of these places you end up having to pay a five for most places in the National League, but get used to that quite quickly. And admittedly, I didn't have a pie. I was very tempted, but I didn't. But the bottle of Coke I had was very nice, I have to say. And everyone was very friendly. There was only 22 away fans and in a crowd of 6,400. So we were slightly outnumbered, but it did feel like we had almost as many stewards as there were fans in there, but they were all very friendly.
So, Patrick, not a good weekend for Oxford City, but Mark Jones's Banbury United got another 3 points in the National League, Patrick.
Yeah, they quickly got over their FA Cup disappointment from last weekend, getting back into winning ways in the National League North. Actually not too far away from where Oxford City were at Farsley Celtic, just the other side of the Pennines on the M62, I think that is. Just a single goal in that game was enough for the Puritans to take all 3 points. It's an ex-Oxford City name, actually, and Adi Youssef that got the goal. He scored in the 11th minute, and he got his first goal for Banbury. Just a few weeks after joining Mark Jones' squad.
Paul, Mark Jones isn't doing too badly considering he didn't really have a squad at Banbury when he first took over, Paul.
Yeah, it's been really tough for Mark, and he does pick these jobs that are difficult. Obviously, when he becomes City manager, it was during a time where our squad was a bit threadbare, and I can remember Mark would sort of look to the bench to see who he could bring on in a difficult game, and we had a load of teenagers there, and I think he's feeling that a bit now at Banbury, where he's down to the bare bones and he hasn't got that many options. And if he can keep Banbury up, he'll do really well. And he did it with Oxford City for 2 or 3 seasons, didn't he, when we were in those hard times? So hopefully he can do the same with Banbury.
What else is going on last weekend, Patrick?
Yeah, so Didcot's run of 3 successive wins came to an end on Saturday. They fell to a 3-1 defeat away at Dorchester Town. They fell behind after 27 minutes, but the Railwaymen did level things up through Patrick Osborne, who was in City's ranks last season, but on loan at Didcot. But the host did score twice in the final half an hour, so the point stayed in Dorset. Kidlington progressed to the third qualifying round of the FA Trophy with a 2-1 win over Exmouth Town. They had to come from behind to put their place in the next round. So their reward for progression is a trip to Basingstoke Town in the third qualifying round, which will be played the weekend of 7th of October. The Southern League Division 1 Central saw an absolute thriller actually between Ware and Tame United, the side sharing 8 goals between them. Tame looked to be taking a 2-goal lead into half-time with them, but Ware scored in the 3rd minute of first-time stoppage time to halve the deficit. But Tame did restore their 2-goal lead 3 minutes into the second half through Jaden Carbon, who recently joined them on a dual registration from Oxford City. The hosts did score twice to level in the 82nd minute, but Ben Kakambo scored to give Tame an 88th minute lead. But a 98th minute Liam Dawson goal saw the shares spoiled in a thriller there. On Sunday, Oxford United women fell to a 4-0 defeat away at Portsmouth in the Women's National League. But Oxford City women had a thrill of their own, actually. They had a 3-3 draw in something of a yo-yo game. Bethany Chapman gave City the lead after 3 minutes, but Rebecca Snelling and Mia Blasey turned it around to give Warminster a 2-1 lead. But City then turned it around themselves again with Emily Harris and Ellie White scoring to make it 3-2. But Blasey scored again in the 89th minute to see this spoil shared there. In the National League, Oxford City did drop a couple of places to 17th after their defeat at Oldham. National League North and Banbury United climbed to 11th after their win at Farsley. Southern League Premier did caught 20th. And Southern League Division 1 Central wasn't many games that last weekend. Northleaf 5th, Tame 14th, Kidlington 15th. Oxford United women are 7th in the Women's National League South Premier, while Oxford City women are 8th in the Southern Region Women's Premier Division. So coming up this weekend, Oxford United are on the road. They travel to Stevenage in League One. Oxford City, they're on TV this weekend with 5:30 kickoff against Altrincham. That's on TNT Sports for the world to watch. Banbury United also at home. They host Blythe Spartans. And a trip actually, which is probably longer than the trip that Gateshead have made in midweek to Oxford City. So some big journeys made to Oxfordshire this week. Didcot Town, they've got a massive game. They travel to Yeovil Town in the FA Cup third qualifying round. In Southern League Division 1 Central, Northley play their first game for 3 weeks. They travel to Kempston Rovers. Kidlington also on their travels, they head to Stotfold. Tame United without a fixture. And then finally on Sunday, Oxford United women travel to #United in the Women's National League. And Oxford City women are in FA Women's Cup action and they head down the M40 to face Slough Town.
Well, that's the Lyon and Ride review for local football for the weekend, 24th, 25th of September. Back to Woodsy and Cadale for some more of Oxford Sports Unleashed.
So Oxford City losing 4-0 there at Boundary Park in front of a crowd of 6,400. A shout out to the 22 Oxford City fans who made the really long journey up to Boundary Park. I made the journey as well. The traffic was absolutely horrendous. It took me about 4 hours. So yeah, massive shout out to those 22. I gather it is the lowest ever away following, but those 22 really deserve a medal for doing that and cheering them on. And what I really liked actually was when the announcement was made, to a man and woman, the Oldham Athletic crowd stood up and gave them a standing ovation for being there. So that's fantastic, brilliant, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. So this is the thoughts then of Oxford City manager Ross Jenkins after that pretty chastening defeat, looking ahead to the next game as well.
Ross, 4-0 to 4-0 defeat. Scoreline doesn't tell the whole story. Is that a fair assessment?
Not sure. Definitely wasn't our best game. I thought we melted. We were thin as it was, leading into the game with a few knocks, and we sort of hit with a bit of a blow right in the first half. Zach had to come off early, which sort of forced our hand with certain things. But yeah, I mean, in terms of our performance, nowhere sort of near it. There was opportunities to really hurt them today. Big distances, they weren't pressing us much, so there was opportunities to pass around, but we were just pretty poor in possession really. So no complaints on that front with the scoreline. We lost the game and that's fair. We weren't good enough today, but it wasn't necessarily them that caused, it was us again. It's a similar sort of theme that's sort of running from Eastleigh game, that, it was us today, that we were the ones who were sloppy in possession and give it away cheaply and allowed them to counter. We were the ones who got into final third situations and done nothing with it. So yeah, as much as I don't care about the scoreline, to be fair. Don't care if it was 5 or 6. It was it was more the manner of the game and the body language. That was probably the most disappointing thing. But it's a tough place to come. They are a good team, but we saw chinks in their armour that we didn't expose today. So that's disappointing as well.
The other thing as well is when we've won a game, we forget about that quickly and we focus on the next one, don't we? I mean, you're the first to say that. We'll do that again, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, I think 4 hours on the coach doesn't help that. I think we're going to think about it a little bit longer today because we've got a bit more time to think about it. But yeah, I think we've got to look at why we weren't ourselves today. So we really got to pick that apart. We started slow at Halifax. We started slow at Eastleigh. We started slow today. We started slow a couple of games, but we've really picked up in the second half. We can have a good go last 15 minutes, but we left it too late. So we need to learn to start games better and play our stuff. I think the occasion might have got to us, the fans might have got to us. So all these sort of things we've got to think about. It's new for some of our boys to play in quite a busy stadium today. They made some good noise. Credit to the fans. But I must say, big credit to our fans as well who turned up. It was pleasing to see that they were supporting us the whole game. Listen, the result isn't always going to go to plan, but they were there, they were here supporting. They made the journey, and we appreciate that.
Ross, thanks very much for your time.
Cheers.
So that was Ross Jenkins, the Oxford City manager, after that 4-0 defeat at Boundary Park on Saturday.
And that takes us on to Banbury United's win. Fantastic win at Farsley Celtic. And this is what the manager, Mark Jones, had to say to Puritans Radio's Dave England.
And Mark, I would imagine you're delighted with that result today and that performance.
I think so, yeah. I mean, we obviously said to the players about giving a real positive reaction after the disappointment last week, and I think we played pretty well today. I think we created quite a few chances, and I thought the overall performance was pretty encouraging. So good day for us. When it's still only 1-0, you're always sort of thinking to yourself, crikey, an option of them putting the ball in our box, another team with a long throw, balls. But I thought we held out pretty well. I think they had one sort of real good opportunity that just sort of clipped off the crossbar. But I thought it was a good performance, and that's now our third clean sheet on the spin in the league, and I've just had a quick look at the results, and I think we've sort of gone up to 11th in the table to today. So I think after 10 league games to be where we are is not a bad start. But listen, we take one game at a time. Unfortunately, we haven't got a game next Saturday, obviously being out of the cup. So we'll come in and train and then prepare for a game at home to Blythe, and hopefully we can get a good crowd for that game, and the boys can go again. But I'm very, very pleased with today.
Yeah, just touching on that, because probably some of the performances over the piece have been inconsistent at times. But when you've got players that haven't played in a lot of football, presumably, no matter how experienced they are, that's probably what you're going to get until they really get their feet under the table. Yeah,
that's right. And I think we have struggled at times to get that real consistent 11 out there. There's always been 2 or 3 sort of changes most weeks, but that happens for every team. But look, I mean, 10 games gone is sort of like a logical sort of time to perhaps reflect on the first 10 games. And if you sort of look at it, I think, 4 wins, 4 defeats, 2 draws, probably about, right where we are, 11th place. But without sort of wishing to sort of blow our own trumpets, I think, coming into the club new, having to put a whole new group together to be where we are after 10 games, I think is a pretty good effort from us. And I think now we can hopefully use this as a springboard to move forward. But no game's the same. Every game's different. We can be pleased with today, but then, Blythe is another game, and we just got to keep going and going and going week to week. But hopefully the fans that came up here today could see that we gave a real good effort. We tried very hard. We played some good football at times. Probably could have scored 2 or 3 more goals. And what we aim to do is always send people away happy. And hopefully it'll be a much better journey back down the M1 for us tonight. Anyway.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you.
And in the FA Trophy on Saturday, Kidlington booked their place in the 3rd qualifying round with a really good come-from-behind 2-1 victory against Exmouth Town at Yarnton Road. The goals coming from Ryan Knight and a 30-yard screamer from Jack Gardner winning the game near the end. Exmouth had a player sent off in that game. Kidlington through to the 3rd qualifying round. After the game, here are the thoughts of the Kidlington manager, Mark Massingham.
Massey, you're through to the next round.
Yeah, we made hard work of it. They were a good team. When we had reports they were going to play a certain shape, as soon as they come out, they play a different shape. So it's all our pre-match was down the pan, but they were good. I feel like we weren't quite at it in the first 20 minutes. We were a little bit just sloppy. Some of the passes, some of the tempo wasn't quite there. We almost looked like a team that was playing away and travelled 3 hours. But about halfway through the first, I think their goal woke us up actually. As soon as they scored, we then kicked in. Goal was really good. Some good play down the sides. Great save by Jack just before. It was never a penalty. The referee's an absolute had one. And never a penalty, so justice served there, and that was sort of, I think, a bit of momentum in the second half. In the second half, we got the goal, should have killed it off, and then we defended really well. We should have defended for 30 minutes, but we gave them hope, and then at the end should have nicked it. But end of the day, we're through, so that's all that matters.
Are you looking to break records in this trophy? Obviously, our highest ever game being the third qualifying round.
One game at a time. I know it's a cliche, and they say every manager says it, blah blah blah, but we are a new form group. You know, we got 4 or 5 lads from last year. Pre-season was horrendous, to be brutally honest, and we're just taking it one game at a time. What I would say is a cut run is probably fantastic for this group to build bonds, to get togetherness. You know, even when we're 1-0 down, the lads are like, we're in it, don't worry about it, plenty of time left. Let the togetherness really come through. So one game at a time. It'd be nice to get a big boy at some point in a big club and give the lads that experience.
It's 3 wins in 4 now. Are you happy that it's starting to kind of shape up?
Yeah, going back to that last comment, I always say it, we probably didn't start our season to 2 or 3 games in, because in the first couple of games we're almost like pre-season games, you know, and we're now feeling the benefit of all the hard work we put in before. You know, we're going to lose games in this league. Unfortunately, we're not a big fish like some of the clubs, but the way the boys are working and the way their togetherness is coming along, we're going to be a match for anyone. So, you know, we just keep the good run going.
So that was Mark Massingham speaking after Kidlington's 2-1 victory over Frome Town at Yarnton Road. Bit of breaking news over the weekend from Kidlington. Aidan Horton, the assistant manager, formerly with Banbury United, of course, he has left the club, and Scott Reynolds has been appointed as Kidlington's new assistant manager. He spoke to the club prior to the FA Trophy game about his hopes for the future at Kidlington.
Scott, first of all, welcome to Kidlington. Just a word on you joining.
Yeah, thank you for the welcome. Really enjoyed today. Met the squad up after the game. Obviously watched the game. Met loads of good people here. So yeah, looking forward to getting started.
Does it put much pressure on you knowing that Aidan was quite a big role in the club?
Aidan's obviously a massive person here in terms of his role and the good work he's done in the time that he's been working with Massey and the team. It's clearly obvious from today. He's got a great relationship with the players. Very good coach. Obviously been a good player himself as well, so yeah, obviously in a way it does, but really looking forward to coming in and helping Massey and the boys moving forward.
What do you think you can give to this squad?
I come from a coaching background. Obviously I've managed at this level before, so a bit of experience there, but mainly sort of working with the boys on the pitch, the training side of things, helping with all the pre-match stuff, assisting Massey with recruitment and bits and pieces like that, so yeah, looking forward to generally being involved.
So all change at Kidlington then, with Scott Reynolds coming in to replace the outgoing Aidan Horton. Kidlington's reward for that victory over Frome is a tricky tie, actually, away to Basingstoke Town on the 7th of October. Wantage Town have been drawn at home to Hamble in the FA Vars after their victory at the weekend, and Ardley United are away to Lutterworth Athletic from Leicestershire after they also picked up a really good victory in the second qualifying round on Saturday. Over to you, Darryl.
It was amazing. I was just trying to think about the Oxford City scenario. 30 years ago, Oldham playing Aston Villa in the Premier League, and good old Oxford City in the Isthmian League, Division 3, playing Biggleswade.
Yeah,
and
absolutely
I think it's just a great story. It's only 30 years, and what an amazing thing.
You were young once, weren't you?
Yeah, it's not a problem, is it? They lost 4-0, but probably didn't actually, as I understand, sort of turn up on the day. But you know, it's still brilliant that they're playing those sort of fixtures, isn't it?
Yeah, I think 4-0 flattered Oldham slightly as well. They scored 2 goals, Oldham, in stoppage time at the end of the second half, 90 plus 1, 90 plus 4. I think 2-0 would have been a fairer result. I think Ross Jenkins was fairly philosophical, though. But they've got an opportunity to bounce back this weekend when they take on Altrincham in front of the TV cameras, actually, at the Royal Charging Stadium on Saturday at 5:30.
Great stuff.
So we'll park football for a little while, but then we'll come back to park football a little bit later on. Our team of the week this week is Tower Hill from the Whitney and District League, and we'll bring you one of the goals from that and give you the details of the goal scorers. Before we move on to cricket, just wanted to wrap up the top rugby results from the weekend. National League 1, Chinner couldn't follow up their 36-0 win the previous week. They fell to a 27-21 defeat away to Sedgley in National 1. Regional 1 Midlands, Banbury Bulls had a really good 41-21 win at Old Halesonians. Oxford Harlequins beat Stourbridge 27-22. And in Regional 2 South Central, Whitney fell to a 22-15 defeat away to Wimborne. All the other rugby union results from all the leagues will be scrolling along the bottom of the screen. Woodsy.
Fantastic results summary there, K-Dog. Over to cricket then. We've already had the highlights package from Wormsley from the 2 T20 finals, the Wilf Bennett and the Hartwell Trophy last week. But a special guest who was actually presenting awards in the Grassroots Awards for cricket in Oxfordshire was a certain Lindsay Smith, who's come through the Oxfordshire pathway cricket through and through, went on to Berkshire Women, and obviously into the England Academy side and played in England T20. Amazing achievement from young Lindsay. She was obviously involved in this last weekend's Rachel Hayhoe Flint final against the Blaze, playing this time for the Southern Vipers. But we caught up with her at Wormsley, and she had this to say when we, under a rather damp parasol.
Here we are at Oxsports Unleashed with our special guest for today, Lindsay Smith. Welcome, Lindsay. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I want to go back to your roots a little bit of where you started in Oxfordshire cricket, because obviously with the programme we're doing, we're highlighting Oxfordshire sports, and it's great to have somebody who's come through the ranks and gone on to be in the professional game. So just tell us a little bit about your sort of rise from Oxfordshire through.
Yeah, so I moved here with my family when I was about 7 or 8, and Dad has always played cricket. He absolutely loves it. So me and my brother got dragged down to the local club every Saturday where he'd be playing, and we couldn't sit still, so we just grabbed a bat and a ball and fell in love with the game from there, really. I started playing down at Aston Rowan when I was about 8, with a lot of the boys at that time, because there weren't many girls obviously in the sport at that time. I just loved it, got involved and just went on from there.
And of course you started as a left arm seamer back in the day, now turned to left arm spin. Just tell us about that transition period.
Yeah, I did, yeah. So obviously started bowling seam when I started the game, and then I kind of was missing a few games here and there as I got older through injuries, and I went off to Loughborough University when I was 18, and kind of found myself missing a lot of cricket due to different injuries, and I was getting a bit frustrated, so I didn't really know where I was at in terms of, did I just walk away from the game or did I just throw myself into something new? And I went to uni because I love cricket, so I couldn't really throw it away or I'd have nothing. Just picked up spin, started bowling spin just on my own, and just went on from there, and thankfully I'm quite good at it.
It's gone well for you, hasn't it, actually, over the last few years since you've gone to spin. Just tell us that sort of progression then from Oxfordshire to Berkshire into the professional game, and how that actually happened for you.
Yeah, so obviously from Aston Rowan I then got nominated for some Oxfordshire trials, which was really nice, and I think that's where I first met you actually, all those years ago.
Sadly for you.
I think I must have been about 12, maybe. Under 13s, is that where it starts? Yeah, so under 13s, under 15s, under 17s, kind of made my way through the ranks there and really enjoyed it, and could really concentrate on my cricket there, and obviously with girls as well, because at Aston Rowan it was majority boys, so that was a really big part of it, obviously getting to playing a girls squad against girls teams and actually seeing that girls cricket can be a thing. That was really exciting, and then as I got older, obviously moved to Berkshire, who played in the highest league at that time, against coming up against some England internationals, which was very daunting to start with. But yeah, it was an opportunity which I really looked forward to and loved, and gone on from there.
It's been an absolutely great sort of rise, and going into getting a contract in the 100. How excited were you when that came about? I mean, it must have been a fantastic experience.
Yeah, so exciting, and it obviously came about the same time as when our regional contracts really took place. Obviously, when I was growing up, there was only kind of the England players who were contracted, and then it was kind of, oh, but you have to work for Chance to Shine, and you have to do these hours coaching. Whereas, you know, now there's 50, 60 professional girls in the country, not just at England level. So, yeah, it's really exciting. And then the 100 on top of that is so exciting, obviously, to be double headers with the men. Really gets our game out there. We've had some amazing crowds in the first 3 years, and hopefully it can just keep growing from there.
Just reminded here as we're absolutely pouring down with rain of how bad our cricket season's been in 2023. Typical, we're in this wet, probably coming down on our gazebo here or parasol. It's been quite frustrating at times, isn't it, in 2023? Some of the games that you played in have probably been a little bit rain interrupted.
Yeah, obviously it's not ideal, but that's part of the summer sport in England. You can't ever guarantee that you're going to get games, but you know, it's something that I guess when you do get games, and especially in how close our league this year has been for the Rachel Hayhoe Flint, we only scraped through yesterday through to the final. And when you have washouts and points are split, obviously, you know, it makes those games that you can get on really important, and bonus points as well. But yeah, I'd like to say that it helped us a little bit in the 100. Obviously, we had the eliminator washed out and we finished second, so thankfully we got straight through to the final. But yeah, it's frustrating, but it's just part and parcel of the game.
A little bit of disappointment for you missing out on the final just through a calf injury. How was that for you, and how did you sort of bounce back from that?
It was really tough actually. It was probably, I guess, the only time I've really missed important games of cricket. So for me it was really hard, and obviously I've done a lot with the team and bowled a lot of balls for the team and had a real clear role. So to be missing out and to be sat on the side was really hard, and something I had to process. But it was something I had to be quite careful about because the girls had a massive week coming up, and obviously I had to be in a really good mood for them and get all them up feeling positive and ready to go. Whereas inside it was probably breaking me to pieces not playing. But yeah, it was a struggle, but you know, I kind of stuck to my rehab really well and knew that I didn't want to be sat on the sidelines for any longer than I should be. So yeah, great to kind of come back at the back end of the season and be back on the pitch now.
I was going to say, I mean, support mechanism during that time for you, was that good for you? You know, was there a lot of help?
Yeah, obviously, you know, you've got the physios, the doctors, all the tons of coaches that you've got, so the support's there. But yeah, like I said, I didn't want to make it too much about me because it was a really important kind of couple of weeks for the girls, and I just kind of parked my feelings for a bit and just did the best I could to get the girls in the best headspace to hopefully try and win that final.
Absolutely. And obviously now Rachel Hayhoe Flint trophy, it looks like there's a trophy back in again for you.
Yes, hopefully. Yeah, obviously we won the Charlotte Edwards Cup this year, which was the T20s. And then, yeah, somehow we've got ourselves through to another final for the 50 over stuff, which is really exciting. Coming out the 100, playing in September, going back to 50 over cricket can be really tiring, and it's kind of hard to get up for it, but the whole squad's been amazing. I think we played 5 games and got 4 bonus points, and we've jumped from 5th to 1st in the league. So yeah, it's really exciting. One more game to go on Sunday, and then hopefully we can have two trophies this year.
And you just started to take some wickets, pretty economical through the season as well. Season's going well for you. Hopefully you want to keep that form going.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you know, we've been hit with a few injuries this year with our seamers and England availability as well. So I've had to step up and open the bowling, which obviously spinners don't always do in 50 over cricket. But it's something I love. I love taking the game on and being in those pressure situations, and it's paid off in the last couple of weeks. So hopefully we can carry that on in the final.
Lindsay Smith, thanks for joining us on Oxsports Unleashed, and good luck for the Rachel Hayhoe.
Bit of a touch of Mary Poppins there as well, with the umbrella going flying down.
A little bit. It was absolutely, I mean, deluge. It was incredible. So we did well to get Lindsay to stand under that parasol for as long as she did. It was a great insight, wasn't it, to somebody who's come through the Oxfordshire cricket pathway, through Aston Rowan cricket, and seeing her perform in that final was absolutely superb. We have got some snippets of that final, which we're going to bring to you now.
Once again, for the second over, left arm round the wicket, spin from Smith, big shout for LBW and Gibbon. Short again and driven straight to extra cover. Oh my goodness me, Kelly has got a short ball that she's tried to go up and over the top of the covers and has just hammered it. They're doing a very good job. They look absolutely frozen. There's all bowl. It's looking for the sweep shot.
Slums preparation for this game. Trot with this point and
a fine innings.
Windsor waits again. Drives down the ground. Now Emily Windsor has gone over the top on this occasion, and that's going to run away for 4 to bring up her 50. This has been a magnificent innings
for the win. On to Windsor, who smash it through extra cover to seal it in style.
Trying to live without your love, but it's one long sleepless night. Let me show you, girl, that I know wrong from right. Every street you walk on, I leave tear stains on the ground. Following the girl, I didn't even want around. So let me tell you now, what, baby, all I need is one more chance. Show that I love you. Won't you please let me back in your heart? What, darling, I was blind to let you go. I let you go, baby. And now since I've seen you,
the player of the match is Lindsay Smith. Well, congratulations, Lindsay. You've still got your pads on. You didn't need those. You did the damage earlier on with the ball.
It's quite nice to have this award, actually. I definitely didn't expect it. I think I'll be the first to admit that I didn't start the best I have with the ball this year.
Just one more chance to show that I love you, baby. I want you back.
So there we have it. The actual results. The Blaze were actually batting first. They amassed 200 for 8, with England's Tammy Beaumont scoring 76. But our very own Lindsay Smith, as you've seen, player of the match, with the only person to bowl her full allotment of 10 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 30, and terrific spell to help Southern Vipers restrict Blaze to that total. But they struggled in reply, actually. Vipers were 4 for 2 before the two Georgias, Adams and Elwes, came together with a partnership of over 80 to secure a little bit of a base for the Vipers. And it was left to Emily Windsor, who again scored a lovely half-century. And again, it was a bit of a canter at the end, actually winning in the 41st over. And Emily, like I say, Emily Windsor was not out, for 56. And quite an easy victory. And of course, again, like I say, Lindsay Smith actually took the Player of the Match award, which was a great achievement.
And something also to mention, Darryl, which we haven't mentioned yet, is although she didn't play in the final, Abby Norgrove, of course, is a member of that Vipers squad, another Oxfordshire player, another pathway player for Oxfordshire. So I guess our message, and the message from Oxfordshire, would be you've got a really good chance if you go through pathway within Oxfordshire to go on to play professional cricket. I thought it was a lovely moment last week, wasn't it, at the awards ceremony when Lindsay presented her own trophy. She won the Under-15 trophy back in 2008 when we were very young. Well, I was very young, I don't know about you. And she presented the trophy to the new recipient for this year, and it was a really lovely moment, on that day. We also had last week at Wormsley the Grassroots Awards, which Woodsy alluded to. Now, the Grassroots Awards in Oxfordshire are awards every year, and it's to recognise people that just go the extra mile and go above and beyond, totally voluntary, and there's some fantastic award winners, which over the next couple of weeks we'll bring you some little clips from some of the winners. The first one of those will be today, and it's with the legend that is Roger Mitty at Cumnor Cricket Club. Everybody in Oxfordshire who is involved in cricket knows a lot about Roger Mitty. He really is a lovely gent, and he was recognised last week at the Grassroots Awards.
name is Roger Mitty. My club is Cumnor Cricket Club, and I have just received a Lifetime Achiever Award. I was utterly amazed. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I'm thrilled, I suppose, especially for the club, not for me, because a successful club is about people, not necessarily individuals, but I'm very proud to be part of that wonderful club. 60 years ago, at age 18, I was persuaded to go and play at Cumnor. And that was the beginning of a wonderful, wonderful journey. It's a wonderful, wonderful family club. And I got so much out of it that I suppose I wanted to give something back. As a young man, it taught me about friendship, about teamwork, about respecting authority in terms of umpires, working with one another. And I've always played team sports. So I played hockey and rugby. Cricket's my favourite. The most joyous moments are Friday evenings, which is when we have our youth training. Back in the 1980s, I said to the committee, look, we're all getting older, who's going to follow us? And you know, youth cricket wasn't really thought of much in those days. So I started a youth cricket section, and my most joyous moments of the summer are being up there on a Friday night, seeing, you know, the youngsters of all sizes beginning to learn what I learned in my life and clearly benefiting from it. And I have seen young men's lives changed through cricket in terms of getting respect and growing into teamwork and all those wonderful things. And also, of course, we now have lots and lots of girls, which is also a huge joy.
So there we have it, Roger Mitty, an absolute legend in Oxfordshire cricket, and there's lots more legends to come. We'll, as I said, bring you a few more of those over the next couple of weeks as we recognise all the grassroots sports winners from the world of cricket.
So looking at the midweek fixtures, Oxford City were hoping to bounce back from their 4-0 defeat at Oldham Athletic on Saturday, but they found in Gateshead a side in red-hot form, and they ran out 4-0 winners, a comfortable victory for the Tynesiders. Ross Jenkins, the manager, had no complaints after the game. City well beaten on the evening, and they will look to try and bounce back in the televised game at home to Altrincham on Saturday. Here are the highlights, though, from the Roar Charging Stadium from that 4-0 midweek defeat against Gateshead, followed by an interview with Ross Jenkins where he was pretty philosophical about the result.
Pieces than they have done in the last 2 or 3 games. They've not really troubled the opposition. Ball floated into the back post, headed! Oh, it's off the line! As the ball bounces around, is eventually cleared by Gateshead. Fantastic header from Andre Burley, who rose highest. And I think it's Richardson on the line who's just got a head to it, and he's headed it onto the crossbar. I'm not sure quite how he's headed it at the angle. Wow, it's really good from Gateshead.
Corner to Gateshead then, and ball into the penalty area, and City's struggling to clear it, and it's in the back of the net, and Gateshead have taken the lead. A bit of a scramble from the corner, and City failed to clear their lines. And it is that man, Marcus Dinanga, who's looked a real handful so far in this first half, and he's fired Gateshead in front. Oxford City 0, Gateshead 1.
Yeah, the ball across the goal was hit with such furiosity. It just hit a player, and that's all he really needed to do, because as soon as it will be a bright change for Ross Jenkins. I think if we saw anything, that our mark change against Hartlepool, but I'll pause myself as here comes Gateshead down the right hand side. Lofthouse is on here. Lofthouse across goal, tap in for Dinanga, and that's as easy as you like for Gateshead. 2-0, and it was almost too simple in the end as the ball was played down the right hand side to Lofthouse. Just lifted his head up, found Dinanga unmarked in the 6-yard box, played it across to him, and it was a simple tap in for the striker who scored his 11th goal of the season already. And Gateshead go 2-0 up at the Roar Charging Stadium. Yeah. I think they have gone to a back 4. Lewis Coyle left back, Canis Carroll and Lewis Mitchell the centre halves, and Andre Burley moving out to the right as a right back. Potter just shoulders off his man. He's 1-on-1 here. Alfie Potter, good save from Archie Mayer. And it's taken 62 minutes in this game, but when Archie Mayer has been called into action, he's made a solid save to deny Alfie Potter. Did everything right there, Potter. Did well to outmuscle his man and keep his composure to send a shot towards goal. But Mayer did well to get down quickly.
Former Austrian Bundesliga player, under 18, under 19 Austrian international. And he's got a bit of time, and there's a terrible mistake and mess in the back. What on earth happened there? The ball should have been dealt with, and Greg Ollie just tapped in. A terrible mistake, Andy, and it's now 3-0.
Well, the next goal would have been absolutely massive, and that was a catalogue of errors. They've done that so well all evening, Gateshead. Just press their men, and they just... City are trying to do the same. They're trying to play it out. They always have done, but the angles weren't expansive enough, and Gateshead have made them pay.
Gateshead in the ascendancy again, and it's with Hannon into the penalty area. Gets himself onto the right foot, and it's hit the post, the far post, and it's curled away from the goalkeeper Chris Haig, and it's gone out of play for a goal kick, and another really swift counter-attacking move, and that was very nearly 4-0.
Yeah, Hannon's got his head in his hands because, well, that was a fantastic shot, really. I mean,
missed, and Gateshead attacking in numbers again with the two substitutes up there, but this time Williams-Bushnell comes away with the ball and tries to thread Josh Parker through, and Parker will chase this one down and get the ball and look to get into the penalty area. He's got the substitute Rennie Smith in there, but he opts to go back to Coyle into Nia Kirby. Shaped for a shot from distance, and beaten away from the goalkeeper, and the follow-up from the substitute Rennie Smith is into the arms of the goalkeeper. A shot on target, I guess, but goalkeeper Archie Mayer dealt with the first shot, and then the rebound that came in comfortably held, and the 55 Gateshead fans will make the long journey back up the M1 and the A1M very, very happy after this performance, and so they should. Hunter does a little 1-2 with Ollie, back to Hunter. Hunter gets the ball across to the substitute Conor McBride, and it's as easy as you like. More really good passing, and Conor McBride has drilled the ball into the bottom corner, and it's Oxford City 0, Gateshead 4.
Like we were saying before, difficult night for Oxford City, but Gateshead have been on form this evening. And again, when they get to that final third, they're playing the ball around the City defenders quickly and easily. And just a few moments, as I was saying to you, Kieren, if they did get a fourth, I don't necessarily think there could be too many complaints.
Right, it's a difficult night at the Royal Charging Stadium. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, tough one. Listen, I thought they were much better than us in all departments, so no complaints my end. We've got to be better. We have to be better. So we've got to reflect quickly on that one. We had some chances, half chances. We need to do better, but overall we were very sloppy in possession. Everyone. One of their goals was us being sloppy in the box, very unlike us. And yeah, it's obviously a tough one to take, but I've got no complaints. Gateshead were a better team, deserve the 4 goals, played really well. We move on.
You said there it's very un-Oxford City-like. What do you put that down to?
Right now it's quite raw, so I wouldn't want to say until I watch the game back, but the sense of it was we didn't cover the distance as well as we can. Obviously, listen, the Gates are a really strong team. They play some exceptional football and displayed that again tonight. So I think we've played probably the best footballing team in the league, in my opinion, from what I've seen so far. Tonight they put on a real display, and we couldn't get near them, and it was difficult to accept that, but we need to dissect it in a calm manner, because obviously straight after the game it's quite raw, emotions can be high, so to take a calm approach is probably the best approach tonight. We've got many more games coming up, so it's not the end of the world. So yeah, we need to definitely be better, but analyse it quickly and go again.
Obviously difficult, and like you say, it's raw, it'll be stinging, but it's worth saying that when we were on that unbeaten run, we weren't getting too high, we won't get too low, will we?
No, 100%. I mean, that unbeaten run would it means nothing really. We were doing okay, competing with some big boys, and tonight we came against a very strong team. Obviously we want to play better. We tried to do better, but tonight we're just beat by the better team, and that's sometimes okay to hold your hands up. The boys have to take responsibility as well. They're the ones on the pitch having a run around, so they've got to come together, as well as the management staff and the group and everyone as a club, to make sure that it's a couple of defeats. We'll definitely put things right in training, and we'll go again on Saturday.
Imagine the players are a little disappointed, I think is the word to say.
Yeah,
after
I think they're disappointed in their own performances and their own standards, and that's, sometimes it's sometimes a broken record to say about our standards, but we do set high standards. So yeah, it's a tough one to take tonight, but I think tomorrow, watch it, we'll analyse it, we'll dissect it, but the overall feel is all of us were off it all over the park. You can carry one or two maybe with a sub here and there, you can get through it, but I thought as a collective we were not good enough tonight and beat by the better team.
Ross Jenkins there talking about the 4-0 defeat at home to Gateshead, and as I mentioned, City look to bounce back on Saturday at home to Altrincham. In the Southern League Premier Division South, Didcot Town were another side looking to bounce back from a weekend defeat, but it wasn't to be for them either. Despite taking the lead in the first half through Patrick Osborne against Merthyr Town, the Welshmen hit back with 2 goals after the break to win by 2-1 at the Luke Meadow Stadium. They maintain their place in the playoff positions, Didcot Town remaining in the bottom 4. And here are some highlights from the Luke Meadow Stadium. So they have it, a 2-1 defeat for Didcot Town, and they look ahead now to their big FA Cup clash away to Yeovil Town on Saturday in the 3rd qualifying round as they bid to reach the 4th and final qualifying round of the FA Cup. In Division 1 Central of the Southern League, Tame United, they had to settle for a 1-1 draw despite taking a first half lead against Bedfordshire side Biggleswade. Biggleswade hitting back in the second half to snatch a point. Killington also picked up a point. This was on their travels, though, away to Kempston Rovers in a battling 0-0 draw.
Just going to briefly go back to football now and our team of the week, our second team of the week. Thank you very much to Cody Davis from Tower Hill for sending us one of the goals. It happened to be the one that was easiest to record, which was the penalty, and that was Tom Costy. It was Tower Hill against Hanborough Reserves in the Whitney District League. Tower Hill winning that game by 3-0, with the goals coming from Adam Bolly, Tom Costy's penalty, and the final one from Tim Banks. So congratulations to Tower Hill for being our team of the week. I don't think Tom's goal is going to enter our goal of the season competition because it was just a slot in from 12 yards. I think he made a bit of a meal of it, to be honest, looking at it, you know. Yeah. But this was that goal, and if you want to be featured as team of the week in any league, it can be Whitney District, it can be Hellenic, it can be the North Berks League, the Lord Jersey. Please email us at oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com and we will feature you as one of our teams of the week.
One thing we haven't mentioned tonight is obviously we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Ox Sports Unleashed. Just search that, you'll be able to do that. Subscribe, hit the notification button, and you'll never miss an episode of Ox Sports Unleashed.
That might put them off if they want to miss an episode, but yeah. Please do, though. Please subscribe, because the more subscriptions we get, the more sports coverage we can bring to you over the coming months and hopefully coming years. Fingers crossed.
So that takes us on to the bit I always like. I really like the Challenge K-Dog segment.
I like this one because it was quite sedate. But I'm a bit concerned about the boxing and the bobsleigh and the cliff diving, which Richard Tilley suggested. I think we'll leave that one. But
any suggestions are welcome. oxsportsunleashed@gmail.com for Challenge K-Dog. Let's see, shall we?
Did I get any better?
Did you get any better? Do you think you got any better?
I think I got better, and speaking to Dave Freeman, he thought I got better. After this second part of the first episode of Challenge K-Dog, we will be speaking to Dave Freeman, who's a member of the Chipping Norton Bowls Club. And as I said at the start of the programme, bowls is not just a sport for people of slightly senior years. It really is, I don't know, I did that, sorry. It really is a sport for everybody, and it's a tough sport, actually. You really do need to be on your game, and have a watch of this second episode of my first challenge, and then please do listen to the interview that we did with Dave Freeman after the challenge was completed.
Right, okay, so Ox Sports Unleashed, Challenge K-Dog. Going to try bowls today, and my coach for the day is the legend that is Dave Freeman. A lot of people know Dave through other things, cricket particularly, chairman of Great Little Chew. Dave, you're going to teach me in the space of 10 minutes to be a world-class bowler. That's your target for today, okay? Yeah. So, first of all, a little bit of advice for somebody that's never picked up a bowl or would in my life. What's your first piece of advice, Kieren?
A minute to learn, a lifetime to master. So,
cool.
Lovely line that is. 4 foot. Got that one, mate, did you? Oh, unlucky, mate.
That's as easy as it looks, isn't it? K-Dog, you need to be wider, yeah? Yeah.
Back that way. That's it.
Yeah, we like this a lot. Cool, lucky mate. Good effort. Right, Dave, thank you very much.
Right.
So that was a very quick half-an-hour crash course, if you like, into bowls.
Yeah.
Getting somewhere towards the end there.
You were, mate, yeah.
I think the thing I noticed predominantly was once you know the bias, it's getting the weight right, which is probably almost more important than the bias, actually, because if you get your line right, it's very frustrating when you go past it because you've bowled it too fast.
Yeah, it's a combination of line and weight, and muscle memory. That's what it is. Different greens. You could Bicester have got a bowls club. You go there, it's different. The different lines, the greens cut differently. So there is a lot of anomalies when you go outside.
So let's have a quick look at this. So this is what you kindly lent me.
Yeah.
And I thought, as I'm sure a lot of people that haven't seen bowls, I thought the bowl would be round, but it's not actually round, is it? It's almost oval. Yeah. And you say that the bias is on one side, so if the bias is on this side, the ball will naturally curve in.
Yeah.
And similarly, if it's that side, it will go that way.
Absolutely, yeah.
So explain to me why bowls, if you know the answer, why a bowl has a bias on it.
Well, I presume it's probably something historical, but my guess would be obviously that if you just had bowls that went straight, it would just be like a 10-pin bowling game, whereas this is a game of skill. Every bowl you get every set is different, so you can get bowls that have got a stronger bias, which makes it bend more at the end, or you've got bowls with a straighter bias, which means they don't bend as much. I mean, a set like this costs about 400 quid. But it'll last. I've got a set that I bowl indoors with, 30 years old. Nothing wrong with them. This will last me, for as long as it is. There's lots of different bowls manufacturers all claiming to have made the right product. But so about 400 quid, last you a lifetime, and but unless you get used to your own set of bowls, you know what those bowls are going to do.
So, as a sport in Oxfordshire and across the country, I know there's lots of bowls leagues in Oxfordshire. One of the reasons we're doing this is to try and put the spotlight on sports that aren't covered as much as they once were. So obviously bowls used to have its regular column in the local papers. How important to you do you think it is to have that little bit of publicity about the sport? Because a sport that maybe a lot of people don't know an awful lot about, having that little bit of profile, get people involved, it's quite good fun when you get it right, isn't it?
So from my point of view, bowls offer something for everybody. So we have quite a big bowling community in the mornings. I don't particularly bowl in the mornings. Well, you've got, I'm going to say, the older bowlers who do it for more social and exercise, and then you get the more competitive people like myself. In other words, we do it in the evenings. Standards probably a little bit better, but you're 75-year-old, doesn't matter if you can bowl this bowl properly. It doesn't matter how old it is. There's a lady in the World Championships, the National Championships going on at the moment in Leamington. She was 88. She was in the last 16 of the country, so it really isn't, age isn't a barrier. It's just about what you want to get out of it. I like to be competitive, so we play in an outdoor league on a Thursday. There's lots of internal club leagues, so there's one that's Wednesday afternoon and Monday afternoon, and obviously if you sit in the indoor rink inside, indoor Monday night, Tuesday night, Friday night, Thursday morning, Tuesday morning, club matches at the weekend. So there's lots going on. And if you get out, it's like all sports, you get out of it what you put in. If you want to commit to it, the more you practice, the better you get, mate.
And you preempted my next question, because this is a question that I know a lot of people will ask. A lot of people, myself included, would have looked at bowls as a sport, a game for the older generation, but actually I've noticed, I know Kevin Older, ex-Whitley Town goalkeeper, fantastic bowler. It's not a sport for people that are sort of retired from the sports. It's genuinely a sport where if you get involved early, you can get into some quite competitive leagues and have that competitive edge.
100%. Well, obviously I know Kev, because Kev bowls here in the winter indoors, and he's a fantastic bowler. We've got a guy here called Mike Shepherd, rated in the top 32 in the country. He bowls indoors. And he has played the current world champion, a guy called Jamie Walker. Shep's played him 4 times. It's 2-all. So it's the standard is fantastic. And on a Sunday we play in the Wessex League. We go to places like Stroud, Gloucester, Carlton's got Carlton's big bowling community. So it's like all things. If you look, it's out there. Just for you to sort of find it and go along. There'll always be people willing to help you. They've always got sets of stuff you can borrow. You don't have to go and spend 400 quid. Borrow a set, see if you like it, then have a go at it.
Because that was what I was going to ask actually, because it's similar to what I've asked with the other sports that I've tried, is if somebody wants to get into bowls and wants to sort of have an introduction, presumably any club in Oxfordshire will welcome them with open arms.
100%.
And give them that opportunity just to have a go.
100%. I think most, if you start to look, most bowls have open days. We'll have an open day for the indoor season, but for early October to invite people along, because give it a go, mate. And it's they are probably very welcoming. A lot of them in the summer. There's a lot of bowling greens around here. You got here Chippy, Chad, Charlbury, Long Compton. So the membership gets diluted. So most bowls clubs are functioning with about 30 or 40 members in the summer, and obviously in the winter, when there's no indoor bowling greens, we have about 170 members. So obviously so in the summer they're welcome with open arms.
Brilliant. And I suppose the big thing about this sport, in any sport, is the social side as well. After you've played your game, win or lose, you get yourself in the bar and you have that social and you relax.
Absolutely.
With your mates.
And you tend to find that there's a lot of guys here who are similar age to me. So there's a lot of mickey taking goes on, and you've got a lot of common interest, sport in particular. You just sit and shoot the breeze for half an hour, and or you can go home.
Well, there wasn't too much mickey taking. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there was.
I have bought my wallet, so let's get in the bar.
K-Dog, good fun, mate.
Thank you.
You're always welcome to come and join us.
So there's another challenge, K-Dog. Well done, K-Dog. You did well again, didn't you?
Thank you.
Yeah,
not bad.
He's coming across as a good sport. I hope that's coming across on your screens as well, because I think he might do all right in another challenge coming up shortly.
No spoilers, though.
No spoilers. We'll see. But that about done and dusted for tonight for episode 2 of Ox Sports Unleashed. A few thank yous, though, to producer Matt Belden, cameraman Dan Smith, social media guru Wes Spearman, Messrs Lyon, Lock and Ride for their weekly roundup, and our special guests this week, Lindsay Smith, Roger Mitty and Dave Freeman. So please join us again next Thursday on another Ox Sports Unleashed, where we'll unleash another Ox Sports. It's good night from me.
See ya.